All right, off the cuff, no rehearsal. I know what you did last summer. Right away, as you can see, I gave it a 1.5 star out of 5. All right. What's to say? I actually wanted to bring up another movie. I saw another, popular movie recently. It's not a horror movie, but it does relate to this movie and my opinion on it. And that was like the new Knives Out movie, which is called, Wake Up Dead Man or something like that. Wake Up Dead Man, what Dead Men Tell No Tales, some kind of pirate shit. So yeah, it was about like some kind of preacher or something, and he died and came back or whatever it was. And obviously there's no magic in that universe, so it was a big old mystery. And the thing I was going to say about that movie quickly, to kind of preface my opinion on this movie, which was entertaining enough to watch, but like not really at the same time, because slashers I really don't care for in general. There are some decent ones. Like I thought the last slasher I saw that I thought was like, okay, this is a semi-decent watch. They're hacking the kids up to bits, they're whatever. I think was the last one I sort of liked was Thanksgiving. And don't get me wrong, that's not like an 8, 9, 10 out of 10 movie for me, but it was like, this is like a solid, I forget what I gave it. It's a solid like 6, like 5 or 6 or something like that. Like it was like entertaining enough. But the thing I don't like about slashers is like, here's the cast, right? Few other characters, like a couple other characters too, right? Here's the crew, here's the group of teenagers, even though these are, people in their like 30s or whatever. But or late 20s maybe, I don't know. The movie Wake Up Dead Man, it's like, okay, so I'm going to try to sound like smarter than I am, right? I feel like it's a presupposition in movies like a Guess Who, like a whodunit, like a mystery, that the audience is part of the fun, part of the movie experience, part of the game, if you will, of watching like a whodunit type of movie, which I would consider this to verge into. This I Know What You Did Last Summer movie, like, who did it? What happened? Who did it? Is like, so the movie I Wake Up Dead Man, spoilers like always. So exit the video now if you don't want spoilers for I Know What You Did Last Summer or Wake Up Dead Man, the new Knives Out movie. Is that I'm guessing, sorry, there's a lot of dust. I'm guessing who did it, right? And that's kind of part of the fun. You don't need to. You could just, right. I understand the argument. I'm going to argue with myself. I always argue with myself. I understand the argument. You can just be along for the ride, right? You can just take it for as it comes to you and you can be along for the ride. I think a lot of the people who do would enjoy like a Guess Who done it type, like, movie though. They're going to be, part of the fun is kind of like the game of guessing and like trying to figure it out. And the Wake Up Dead Man movie was so over the top with complexity, constantly giving you new things every 10 minutes. And you throw out everything you knew before and throw out everything you thought before, because now you get a new detail that this character was blah, 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 and like doing this. And that movie was so like beyond, other than sheer, I have a hunch, like I know this, like if you break, this is what my opinion is, right? I think here's actually a really good point. I think this is an intellectual point I'm making. The movie shouldn't expect me to break the fourth wall and recognize the actors and actresses and then realize, like, I can see this actor or actress having a menacing smile at the end, and like they have played villains in the past really well, like double-crossing type villains or whatever. Like they play a good villain. Like a movie shouldn't expect me, if the movie doesn't break the fourth wall, I, out of principle, want to watch the movie and take the details as the movie gives me, right? And it's like, if it were a test, if you were to give me a test on who do you think did it, I'm going to write down whatever the movie is telling me, whatever direction the movie's telling me. And sometimes that's like, quote unquote, like a red herring or whatever. And I think in this movie, so yeah, that Wake Up Dead Man shit. I don't know how much you can swear on YouTube. there was a red thing. How did they get in this room to kill him? In the room it's literally a closet with cement walls. Well, could there be a false wall or maybe some kind of contraption or something device? But now the device is not in here. Did somebody take it out of the room? Da, 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 da. And you're literally just trying to yeah, it's some kind of device, or they use some kind of device. The person in question used some sort of device. Oh, it's painted red, so it was painted the color of his cloak, so no one in the audience noticed. Even when he turned to go in the room, when they were at a 45, degree angle. See, am I gonna sound stupid? Is that the angle? When they are perpendicular to each other, they didn't notice a nubule sticking out of his back that was painted red, so it was the same color as the cloak, so no one would notice. And then it was also a gizmo contraption to release fake blood. So they're all Inspector Gadget MacGyvers. They can make... I mean, granted, the one person in that movie was a doctor or whatever. I mean, these were like... They had some education, and he was a doctor. I didn't know that means you can make gizmo contraptions or hire someone to make a gizmo contraption, like a very specific thing where you hollow out a lamp, what is that called? A lamp, whatever, and then hollow it out and make a gizmo release of fake blood and paint. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, yeah, you really can't guess movies like that. You just have to, like, be along for the journey, I guess, which I don't like. Like, I don't like that, right? And I know what you did last summer. Now to this movie. I know you did last summer. So the slasher elements weren't very good, right? So if we're taking, like, if I'm going to break this down, if I'm going to break it down, like, what's there to like? What's there to dislike? What can you get out of this movie? One, it's a horror movie. I love horror movies. It's a slasher. I'm kind of on slashers, right? They're kind of boring. I don't know what it is. It's the human element. There's always like a knife or an axe. Chop. I chopped you. I don't know. Some people think it's scary. I find it more... You could make the argument horror movies are all teenager movies, but I would argue slashers specifically are like, let's make out in the movie theater like a teenager type movie. And you get the cliche trope. And I do think that in a way was slightly fourth wall breaking, just the fact that it's like, oh, I know what you did last summer movies, and like the common cliche trope of the girl like putting on a shirt in the beginning and like there's music playing, dun, 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 and it goes to the room and it's this girl, and she's like adjusting her top or putting on a shirt or whatever it was, I don't remember exactly, in her room and like in the mirror, and she's like, okay, let's get this party started, and then like here's the party, and I don't know. Then people start dying. There's a guy with a hook hand because something they did last summer, which was like be in the road and distract a driver. That scene was kind of funny because like he was going to go off the cliff and they're actually trying to help him. They're trying to like hold the truck up. Like, here, let's get him out of there. Oh, shit, I can't get the door or whatever. And then before the guy goes off the cliff, the guy's hand busts through the window and grabs, I think it's this guy or this guy, I forget, like kind of grabs him like it's like scary, like spooks you, like, oh, like you broke the hand. Oh, that almost seems evil or something, right? But of course it's not the person in the truck, right, that kills them. I mean, he went off a cliff or whatever. I don't know. Who knows? I was like, by the halfway point of this movie, I was kind of like, I was drinking. I was kind of zoned out. But yeah, you're kind of like, whoa. I mean, by the time you break your hand through the door, you might as well go for the lock or like unlock the door if you're conscious breaking your hand through the door. But anyway, believe me, let me announce. I've announced this before, okay? I've announced this before. A movie doesn't have to be realistic for me to like it. I have suspension of disbelief in movies, all right? But when the movie's bad, it's much harder to forgive. Like, it's like not an entertaining movie, and it's also like doesn't make sense and it's nonsensical, then it's like I'll pick it apart. Right, so they keep going, blah, 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 blah. She meets a girl at a typical cliche, like, sex scene, basically. She meets a girl, like, this is her boyfriend, I think. And he's like, she flies to the airport to and from this shit, or, like, whatever. I don't even know. And she's in the bathroom of the airport and, like, having lesbian, like, make-out sex, which, you know, I don't mean to say that in a way that is politically incorrect. It's just, she's like, bi, apparently, and she's, like, in a airport bathroom, she's like getting fingered basically or whatever. Like she's like having lesbian sex in this bathroom. It's like the cool like tattoo girl who turns out to be, and then she's like in the car with her boyfriend and this girl in the back seat. This girl she meets at the airport. None of these people. It's another girl, right? That's introduced in the movie, and then the girl that she she meets at the airport that she sat on the plane next to or whatever is actually like a serial killer podcaster or whatever, like the you know, I don't know what it was called, like the Scream channel or whatever, I don't know, doesn't matter. Anyway, and so unless I missed something, the girl from the airport, she knew her, okay, she knew her, right? I don't know how her relevance. I don't know if she met any of these people. She saw these people, right? And then there's a scene where you're kind of thinking it might be that girl who was just introduced, right? Oh, new character. Here's the gang of friends, and here's a random character that was introduced that does like a horror podcast thing. And then she gets attacked in some kind of bar, all right? And the podcaster girl's with her. So you're almost thinking, is it the girl that's with her that gets attacked? But then the girl appears upstairs and she's like, well, who is that? Or whatever. And she's like, oh, shit. And then you as the audience member are like, well, it's either she's working with the person or it's actually not. That's a red herring kind of character or whatever, like a random character. Or another character that's fodder to get slashed up, right? Because you need, you know, teenagers, even though these, I mean, they're like late 20s, like 30s. You need the teenagers to get slashed up in a slasher movie, right? I mean, that's the basics. So, she gets slashed up, the character she meets on the plane or whatever, going to and from who God knows where, who knows where, a birthday party or something. And but when she's about to die, she's dying, she gets stabbed, she pulls off the mask and she's like, you, like she recognized the person. And then you're thinking, well, who did she meet out of all these people? Like, this girl was there. This guy was not there. She was in a car with these two people. So the movie, this is what I'm saying. Now it's too obvious, and it's like basically another red herring. But the movie, and I don't think the movie is fourth wall breaking enough for me to, like, not look at it with principle and be like, I'm going to take it what it is, what the movie is feeding me, essentially. Yes, the movie is giving me this, and I will eat it. It's giving me this food. It is feeding me this. It is feeding me these details. So I think like, oh, maybe it's the boyfriend. She was in a car with him, and then she said you, like she recognized the person. It turns out it was, right, spoilers again, I already did say. It turns out it was like her for some reason. I don't know, her dad or like at the coal mine or something, and she lost his job and her life kind of sucked, and then she got in rehab and started doing drugs. The town fishery or coal mine or power plant or whatever it was. Who cares? It's all interchangeable, these details in these movies, right? The town, whatever, her dad worked at, whatever. And it was her, and then she was actually working with the guy from, I think, one of the old movies, so it was kind of like a cameo. I wouldn't say it's fourth wall breaking, but it was like sort of like a cameo from like old movies, and it did have a lot of the same tropes as like a lot of slashers. So the fact that it had like the tropes is the only real fourth wall breaking element to it, is like it follows kind of like the formula sort of. But and there was also some other guy. I don't know. He was in the. I'm not. They're trying to make this like a ongoing. Like this is so iconic to people that people. So oh my God, the classic. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know how many movies there are. Is there multiple of these? Isn't there like 3 or 4 or something? I Know What You Did Last Summer. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1998. Is that like a new one or something? I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. See, I guess there's like some newer-ish. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a continuation or these are just kind of like reimaginings or remakes or what. Oh, okay. Ever since killing a fisherman 1 year ago, Julie James is still haunted by images. I still know. Okay, so this is like an actual Julie James, right? Julie James, and Julie James was in this movie as well. She was like a teacher or something, which she seemed like a horrible teacher, by the way. It was like some kind of like psychology thing, and I took psychology personally. That's what my degree's in, and it was just like rubbish. It was like movie rubbish, and it was just like funny to me what she was saying in the psych course or whatever course she was teaching, and because it was more like a theater thing. It was like not, I don't know, it was weird. But anyway, yeah, Julie James was a teacher or something, and then the guy from the old movies, I don't know. The guy from the old movies, do I recognize the guy anywhere? Was it this guy? I have no idea, honestly. Oh, Freddie, yeah, it was this guy. It was this guy, right? So he was in this one. He was in the original one, right? Was he this guy? Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt. Okay, he was in all the movies. So in a way, I kind of consider it. It's like a new story. It's almost like a cameo. There's sort of a new killer, but then Freddie Prinze Jr. or whatever his name is also was helping the killer, who is this girl for some reason because her daddy, daddy, whatever. Then I did drugs and became crazy, I guess. Kind of cliche. And, yeah, I don't know. It was just like a coin flip again. Like the reason why I brought that other movie up, I know you did less, or the Dead Man Tell No Tales, or Wake Up Dead Man, or whatever, is because that movie, it's like there's really no guessing unless you break the fourth wall yourself and you're like, let's look at these actors and actresses. And like, I kind of had a hunch like the one character had something like a big part in that with the Dead Man one, where I'm like, yeah, I'm like, she looks like she has probably a huge part in it, right? And there's really no way to know. And then in this movie, it's kind of like red herrings. It's just here now, and that would all be forgivable. And this is probably running on too long now. That would all be excusable if it just was entertaining, and it really wasn't very good. There's like, oh, we're talking now. Oh, okay, finally a slasher scene. And movies like this, it's like you watch like Jason or whatever. You watch Friday the 13th, these movies, and you know they have a supernatural element. They are the killer. It's a slasher, but the killer is supernatural. It's proven. It's throughout the years that the killer is in fact like they came back from the dead and now they haunt these campgrounds, and they're like a supernatural. See, those are a little more fun to me, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Friday the 13th series either. Because again, I'm not really just a big fan of slashers. I just think they're like, okay, then they're going to slash this kid. Okay, then the other kid's going to be alone, and they're going to slash this next kid, and like whatever. I don't know. I'd rather like interesting, spooky, paranormal things happen, because at least you get some possession stuff. You get some hands going through walls. You get like the jump scare of like whatever. I don't know. I don't want to explain logically why I find paranormal stuff more interesting and diverse in like the movie watching experience, as opposed to a killer who's like, are they going to use the axe or the knife or the crossbow? Like, that's kind of what it usually comes down to be honest. Like, someone will be punctured by a sharp thing. And sometimes in paranormal movies, there's a little diversity with like what's going to be happening on the screen. And you get some kind of like interesting imagery, or like there's a weird ghost thing down the hall and it like transformed, or it's in the painting now. Like, you know what I mean? There's just interesting things in like paranormal stuff. Slashers are kind of more boring. But yeah, so the point, I guess, the cap it off kind of shit is, so it's not a paranormal killer. It's literally like, this is supposed to be, I mean, it's kind of a funny, haha, like tropey, like PG-13-esque. I don't know if it's PG-13. It's probably rated R. There's a lot of blood. There's like sex scenes. Yeah, it was probably rated R. But it's like PG-13-esque in nature, in my opinion. Like the spirit of it is like a PG-13 movie. It's like a teenager movie, and which is not necessarily inherently bad, but it's supposed to be semi-grounded in reality, because this is not a supernatural killer. But at the same time, you get like these really corny scenes where they're in a graveyard for some reason. I don't know. They're checking a tombstone or a grave, some kind of mystery. I don't know. They're in a graveyard, and then all of a sudden there's like 4 or 5 people in this graveyard, and then it's like, oh, let's go play football over here. Let's go. It's like nighttime, right? And they're like, let's go play beer pong. And they all like leave in opposite directions to go do things at the graveyard or something, to leave or to like play beer pong or something. And then all of a sudden one character's alone. I think it might have been her. And then the killer just like is right behind her. All of a sudden they were together, then they like left to go play dominoes. And then it's like, this is not a supernatural killer. You have to like walk through and sneak around the grave. You'd hear the footsteps or like see it in your peripherals. Like, he's just right behind her, and it's like, and that's everything. Like, every scene is contrived where it's just like, and then this person is sort of alone in this bar. This person's alone in the graveyard, and then the killer will attack them, and he'll try to slash them with a knife, or he or she will try to slash them with a knife. I believe there was, and the thing, of course, the body, the killer was big. And you're like, this is a guy. and I think there was like pillows in it or something. Like, and I even joked like, I'm like, what she like? It's like I'm gonna be like, it's one of the girls. I did actually say that at one point. I'm like, it's gonna be one of the girls, and she has like pillows in the thing. It's like a guy like outfit or something, like ridiculous, because it's a coin flip. You might as well roll a dice. Like who did it and like why? The reason, oh, my daddy, drugs, I went crazy. Like, I don't like the whole, I don't, with the whole, like, without getting into political landscape and like politics and psychology, like the Mark Maron stuff with the podcast Broverse and stuff. I really hate the like cop out of like mental illness. They did it because they're crazy. That usually comes across as just gaslighting to me. And like the movie in a way is like, oh, this movie's like gaslight. Like, oh, she went crazy and did drugs and now she just wants to hack people up. Like, I don't get it. But whatever. The kills weren't very cool. That's what I was gonna get to. Sorry. The kills weren't very cool. It's fine. I don't know. There's only so many times I can watch somebody get like stabbed, and it's not disturbing. I don't find it like, ooh, I have to look away. I watched Bring Her Back, that disturbing knife scene. This stuff doesn't disturb me where like it's off-putting to me and I don't like it because like, yeah, they got stabbed. It's boring. Like, he has a hook. They're slashing at people with a hook. It's boring. I don't know. Like, it doesn't do anything for me. These movies need a sense of adventure. I like when there's change of scenery. There was a bit of change of scenery here. There was a bar. There was like a graveyard at one point. There was somebody's really nice house. Of course, these people are always rich for some reason in these movies. You always get to see these beautiful homes that these, like 30-year-olds are in. These like absolutely beautiful properties that are millions of dollars. They're always rich people. Yeah, but that's cool. You get to see the beautiful Hollywood homes that they rent out for the movie companies to use or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. They go to a few different locations. They get slashed at in a few different locations. Then the reveal, it's a total coin flip. And I mean, there we go. End credits. Curtains roll, curtains and credits roll. You know what I mean? It's there was nothing there wasn't really anything too funny about it. I didn't find like any of the there was, I think, a few moments where it tried to be funny. It wasn't very funny. The action slashing wasn't very good. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't diverse enough. There was, I think, a crossbow part. Somebody got stabbed with a crossbow. Somebody, of course, punctured through, like, the bottom of the mouth, the bottom of the jaw, chin area. Punctured. A lot of people getting punctured in some way. Yeah. Whatever. It's a slasher. It's fine. Maybe you really liked the series. I think there was, like, also... Not to, I see. I'm just like, I'm an intellectual. Not to use the word presupposition again. It's like they're trying to force this to be like a series almost. I'm hoping there's not another one. I'm almost feeling like it's like they're trying to like force this to be a series because I do think there was an ending where it's like, I think it was Julie Jane, whatever that character in the movie Julie, and she was the teacher at the end, and oh my god, she was from the other movies, now she's a teacher. She got some kind of note at the end, I think, like of like, oh, I still know what you did, still last, still summer, still in the still with the moonshine, still summer. I know what you did last summer, and she got some kind of note like that in the end. I think it was one of those kind of endings. So yeah, they're really trying to make this like one of those like iconic, never-ending series is now like that's my problem with the Freddy movies, Five Nights at Freddy's too. It's like that was such an abrupt ending on that second movie. It was ridiculous. But and now we got to churn them out. They're all going to be Lord of the Rings. They're all going to be Harry Potter series now of the fabled, notorious, iconic fisherman hook killer. Ooh, wow. I don't know why. It's not iconic to me. You're not going to force it to be iconic to me. You can't force it with me. It feels so forced. Here's a classic rose-colored goggles, in my opinion, rose-colored goggles killer. Oh, he's got a ski or hockey mask and like a jumpsuit, and he's like supernatural, and it's like an It Follows situation where it's like he's kind of slow, but he's extremely powerful, and he comes back, and he has a machete. Okay, semi-iconic, I guess. Fisherman hook killer. It's like a is this the right hodgepodge of like random. Go into the wardrobe costume department, pick out random things. Go to Spirit of Halloween, close your eyes, spin around, and pick out a random outfit. Maybe you can be a sexy fairy, a sexy princess. It doesn't matter. It's a hodgepodge of random. Right, fishermen use hooks, right? Like I mean, it's not literally totally random, but it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me personally, and I'd put my money on that it doesn't do anything for anybody because not many people like this isn't like a trigger for a lot of people like the hook thing. I get it in horror movies. There's rats a lot. I can attest to this that like my girlfriend doesn't like rats. And then you go figure, okay, I kind of get it. I think the rat thing is like, it's like cliche and played out. I don't find mice or rats scary at all. But, some women and some guys, I'm not trying to make it like a male or woman thing or whatever. Some guys find rats or certain creatures scary or disnerving or whatever the word, So I kind of get that, I guess. But I don't think anyone's like, fisherman, hook fisherman. Like, no, that's not like anything to anyone, right? Like I'm watching the new Fear Factor. This is just a small like little rant at the end. I'm watching the new Fear Factor, which is like entertaining enough as like trash TV. But they put them in these phone booth cages and they have to get the keys or punch in the numbers to get out while being distracted because there's critters in the things. And there's like 4 or 5 people and the one person gets snakes. Okay, they get snakes, which is like, in my opinion, and you probably would argue by like certain fields, like certain experts in fields, that's actually an ingrained, like an embedded fear in people. They go, snake, and then you think, oh, poisonous, oh, our ancestors, if you got bit by a snake, you might be like screwed now because not everyone has like a hospital nearby that they can go, I got bit by potentially poisonous snake. Back in the day, you got bit by a snake, you might be done for, right? So not that they were poisonous snakes in the show, but I'm just saying that's more like inherently, like biologically, ingrained in us that like snakes are scary. So one person got snakes, another person got, what was the other one? Another person got rats. Okay, I kind of get it because of, my experience, people in my life, I kind of get it. I don't find rats very scary, to be honest, especially when they're like probably like declawed like Hollywood rats or whatever. You'd like to think that about all these. They're not literally just taking random snakes they find and throwing it at these people, So they have actor rats and actor snakes, right? They were in 6 featured films. This snake is more rich than I. He has a nicer mansion than me. Like his net worth is higher than me. It's the dog from Air Bud. You know what I mean? Oh, let's pour a bunch of dogs from Air Bud on these people. But snakes and rats, I kind of get. Then the other person gets birds. Birds? How many people are scared of birds? And that's okay. To top it off, let's say, okay, well, scared. They flutter in my face. They poop on me. Their little bird claws, whatever. Maybe one or 2 out of 10 people. And then the other guy gets lizards. Lizards? I just think there's a huge difference between dumping snakes on someone and dumping lizards or birds in a booth. A bird's just going to fly around the window like doing its own thing, trying to get out. It's not going to like do anything to you. You know what I mean? The snakes will be like, crawling up your legs or whatever. Birds are not going to be like doing anything. Same thing with like a lizard's crawl. Who cares? People used to kids play with lizards. Ooh, look, my gecko. It's like they were not intimidating lizards. They weren't like those huge like dragon lizards. They were like literally like a kid's pet, like lizard. So anyway, I don't know why I went on this rant. It's kind of like, what do people find scary? That's why. Let me cap it off. That is why. Because I don't think the hook thing, like the hooked fisherman shit, is. Please don't try to force it down my throat. It's not scary. It never will be. It's not iconic. It never will be. This triggers no one. Okay, and when I say no one, I know it's like toxic to generalize like that. There's probably somebody, oh, I used to fish all the time. I'm in a fishing town. This barely applies to anyone. Sure, I guess it could have an audience. What is a 2 point whatever out of 5? I mean, that's about right in my opinion. It's overrated. And what the hell kind of bath bomb is that? I know what you did last summer. I think it's actually better when you go to recent reviews, So let's see. Let's just read just a little bit, just a few, right? I think someone literally said, "Let's screw this movie with the third act." Sure, right? Sure, I agree. But almost the whole thing. This review may contain spoilers. I know what you did last summer. Aha, you just lied to me. There's no other. Hey, you know what you did last summer. Tell me what you've been. I don't know. Thank you, Shawn Mendes, for this masterpiece. They made the men need therapy joke in the movie before I could make the men need therapy joke on Letterboxd. During the first act, I wanted to thank God for how perfect the movie was. At the second act, I was considering becoming atheist. I just want to know the name of who decided to mess everything up at some point because the first 80 minutes were literally a dream come true for a fan of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Okay, that's fair enough. Even though I didn't really like it, it's fair enough in my opinion. Then stab in the back. Like, you hate us for some reason. Is that see that's reminiscent of the review I read earlier. That's kind of a similar testament there. Guess what I did? Guess what I did this summer or whatever. With a hook in it. Hope it can lean over what kill every time. Couldn't believe I actually enjoyed it. So much surprise and twist. Okay, dude. If you want my thoughts, check this movie's social media, I guess. No. Automatic door sucks. Literally, what are they waiting for? Automatic doors suck. What are they waiting for? Okay, I don't know. There was some, that's the general testament is it's not very good with like one oddball, like high review. And, that's it. The review was too long. Okay, that's what I thought about it.